lovelies, and welcome back to BrittneyOriel. Thank you for tuning in yet again to another video. As promised, I am following up from my last video all about periods. I hope you all enjoyed it, to the guys that got disturbed. Now in this video, we'll be talking about the options out there to deal with your period. So ranging from pads, tampons, the newly found menstrual cup. I'll be discussing each option out there, what they are, how to use them, pros and cons of each one, and at the end I'll be doing just a quick wrap up of which ones I recommend for particular girls and when I think you should change to another option. So I'll begin with pads. Pads are probably the most commonly used product. It tends to be the first product that girls use as soon as they get their period because it's very uncomfortable already to first get your period. So to put anything anywhere is very uncomfortable. So we normally begin with pads. So everyone's pretty familiar with pads. Pads are products designed to absorb the body as soon as it leaves the body. It is made of soft cotton pressed together to form a shield between you and your underwear. Pads differ in two ways: absorbency as well as wings or without wings. Absorbency levels are related to your flow, so whether you have a light, moderate or heavy flow, you might get a slim to maxi pad. Just a side note, absorbency is not related to thickness. You can have a very high absorbency and a very thin pad. Some pads have wings on them which attach behind the underwear, and some pads do not have wings. To begin, you first wash your hands. You then unwrap the pad and peel off the back side to expose the sticky area. Firmly stick the tacky side to your underwear. If your pad has wings, peel off the wrapping to expose the sticky side of the wings and firmly press the wings behind your underwear. Throw the wrapping into the bin. When you are finished using your pad, peel off used pad. Roll the pad, keeping the used side inside. Cover the tacky side with tissue and dispose. Pads can typically last up to about 4 hours, which is the same time as the tampons, but I do recommend that you eyeball, and when you think that your pad is soaked or soaked to your comfort level, then you remove and dispose and change to another. Some things that I don't tell you about pads. Laughing and sneezing just is not the same. You feel your blood flow actually leaving your body. Pads without wings are probably a guaranteed leaking situation. As I said before, they are very thin options with high absorbency levels, so you don't have to wear a diaper. Some pros for wearing pads are: it is a non-invasive option for girls that just got their period or simply just aren't comfortable with the idea of blood or putting something in there. You do feel the flow, which helps you gauge if you have a light, moderate or heavy flow. There is no risk of getting toxic shock syndrome. Some negatives of wearing pads: the waterfall sensation. Pads are not naturally as white, so they are bleached using chlorine, which produces a chemical called dioxin, which results in symptoms if you react to it that are similar to TSS. Toxic shock syndrome. The cotton used in pads are cellulose fibers that are transformed to rayon, and this process of transformation includes a lot of chemicals that are not very good for your body and again will result in symptoms similar to TSS. Pads can show through thin or fitted clothing. Pads are a major hazard to the environment. The amount of product as well as wrapping used to create a pad every month, every pad that you use, you contribute to a lot of waste in our environment. And this waste cannot be recycled because it does include bodily fluids. There is a monthly cost associated as well as a monthly errand to the pharmacy. Odor becomes a major risk unless you change your pad extremely frequent. You will have an odor. Scented pads can cause irritations on your skin. Pads do not allow for a very active life and definitely are not to be used when you're swimming. Carrying around pads can be bulky as well as embarrassing for those that do not want to be seen with period-related products. Now we move on to tampons. Tampons are another very popular product used use for your period. It tends to be the products girls go to after they use pads. Tampons are products used to absorb the blood before it leaves your body. It is made of soft cotton pressed together in a cylinder-like shape so that it can be easily inserted. Tampons differ in absorbency levels as well as applicator. Similar to pads, absorbency levels range according to your flow, light, moderate, or medium. You can get a light to super plus tampon. Some tampons do come without an applicator. I do recommend that this is to be used with girls that are very comfortable with themselves, as well as the insertion of a tampon. And tampons with an applicator can have an applicator made out of either plastic or cardboard. I do recommend the cardboard option as it is more eco-friendly. One tampon can last you 4 hours or less depending on your flow. To begin, wash your hands. Unwrap the tampon from the corner of the wrapping. Get in a comfortable position, either sitting on a toilet, in a squatting position, or standing with another foot on a higher level ground. Breathe and relax. Hold the tampon like so, and place at your opening. Slowly push tampon inside until your fingers touch your body. Push the applicator stick until it disappears to insert the tampon. Slowly pull the applicator out. Put used applicator into the wrapping and throw both away. Please wash your hands. To remove, simply pull the string until the tampon leaves your body. Do not panic if you feel any tension on the string. Just keep a slow and consistent pull. Throw into the toilet and flush. Some things that they don't tell you about using tampons. The shape of your vagina may change, meaning if you insert your tampon and you're inserting upwards and it doesn't go straight upwards and kind of hits a wall, simply move it around until you feel an opening and push in that area, because with the combination of cramps, your vagina may be a bit tilted. You can't forget that you have a tampon in. As crazy as it sounds crazy until it happens to you. So if you forget you have a tampon in and you insert a second one and then realize, wait a second, I just pushed a tampon inside of me, please do not panic. Simply put those fingers up there, feel for it and pull it out. It's yours. You can't be more afraid of it than someone else. If you are panicked and you aren't successful, then you can go to a doctor, but please don't rush to go into a doctor and prefer a doctor up there than you. When you poop, it can dislodge the tampon, because as I said in the last video, everything is pretty close there. So I do recommend that you remove your tampon before you take a poops and then put another one in, and it will be very hygienic. You don't want that dirty string. Yeah, let's not continue. As I showed in the instructions of how to use tampons, you can use the wrapper to dispose of the applicator a lot cleaner than wasting tissue to wrap the applicator or throwing the applicator in the bin and just being a bit dirty. A bit dirty. Come a little closer, guys. Come a little closer. Using a tampon does not take your virginity. Say what? It does not take your virginity. Your virginity stays intact. Let me explain. First of all, a tampon cannot take your virginity if you think about it, because having sex takes your virginity. Say what? And number two, the thing called a hymen, I always thought was like a layer on your vagina that if it's punctured, then you lose your virginity. However, it is a tissue around your hole, so it has to be stretched to a certain level to burst and lose your virginity. You can use tampons overnight. It's not going to get lost, and it's probably not going to leak unless you have a very heavy flow. Then I do recommend some super tampons and a phone alarm. Tampons should not be used to absorb any bodily fluid besides blood. Some benefits of using tampons are: it is a much cleaner option in that blood does not leave the body, it stays inside, gets absorbed, gets removed, and the process continues. Tampons allow for you to continue with your physical lifestyle as well as swim. It is very easy to use and it helps you basically forget that you're on your period because you're not feeling the flow. It is a lot more comfortable than pads. You don't have the bulkiness down there. You don't have any wet sensation. It is also a much more discreet option than pads, so you have full freedom to wear your outfits as you normally would. Some negatives of tampons are leaking still remains a possibility, so if you are concerned about leaking, I do recommend that you pair a tampon with a panty sheet. Scented tampons may cause a bad reaction with you. The string hanging outside is just not the most sanitary thing. Let's be honest. You may have to change your tampon very frequently depending on your flow. It creates a perfect little environment for possible infections and TSS, toxic shock syndrome. You do have to walk around with some tampons, which again is extra bulk to walk around with and possibly embarrassing for those still uncomfortable with walking around with period-related products. Some people with a very heavy flow may still need to use a pad as well as a tampon. Tampons are not naturally that white, so similar to pads, they are bleached using chlorine and produce a dangerous chemical called dioxin, which results in not so nice symptoms. Similar to pads, the cotton in tampons are made from cellulose fibers that are transformed to rayon, and this process uses a lot of very dangerous chemicals that, if they cause a reaction, may result in symptoms similar to toxic shock syndrome. There is a monthly cost associated with tampons, having to buy a box of tampons every month, as well as a monthly errand to run to the pharmacy. So after making reference to toxic shock syndrome with both pads and tampons, I decided to just give you all a quick debrief of what toxic shock syndrome is. Toxic shock syndrome is a very rare but dangerous infection. It is a growth of a bacteria called, I'm not even gonna try, just read it yourself. There you go. This bacteria makes a toxin that causes severe illness. Symptoms include flu-like symptoms such as muscle aches, high fevers, redness of eyes, mouth and throat, dizziness, fainting and lightheadedness, vomiting, rashes similar to sunburn, diarrhea, and a feeling of confusion. Some tips to avoid toxic shock syndrome are: frequently change your tampon, use the appropriate absorbency level tampon, do not use a super tampon when you have a light flow, allow free bleeding if possible. Free bleeding meaning you let the blood leave your body. So if you're comfortable when you're home, I do recommend that you use a pad ever so often. Only use tampons to absorb blood. Be very careful, gentle and slow when inserting your tampon to not create any nicks or cuts. And remove your tampon as soon as you begin to notice any symptoms similar to those listed for toxic shock syndrome. On to menstrual cups, my personal favorites. Now, I was completely terrified of menstrual cups when I first started. I was like, no way in hell am I putting a cup in there. That's not happening. No. However, when I started becoming a bit more aware of the waste, the amount of waste that tampons and pads produce, like seriously, think about it. Think about the amount of pads and tampons that you've used in your life. So take into account the tampon itself or the pad itself. So the cotton, think about the wrapping, think about the applicator, think about all that waste that every single month you contribute. That thought led me to researching a lot more into menstrual cups, and I am now an avid menstrual cup user, and I will encourage anyone comfortable with the idea to move to menstrual cups. What menstrual cups are products designed to collect your blood before it leaves your body. It is made of flexible medical grade silicone in the shape of a cup with a stem at the bottom. Menstrual cups differ in two ways. They're either 1, disposable or reusable, or 2, they differ in size as well. Disposable is self-explanatory. You throw them away after every use. And reusable cups can be used anywhere from 6 months to 1 year to even 10 years, depending on the brand that you're using. Pertaining to size, there's a bigger cup and a smaller cup. The bigger cup is either for women over 30 or women that had a baby already, and the smaller cups are for women under 30 or did not have a baby as yet. To begin, wash your hands. Get in a comfortable position, either sitting on the toilet or in a squat position. There are 2 ways you can fold your cup. This way or this way, which is my personal favorite because it is a lot less bulky. Fold the cup and hold tightly in place. Breathe and relax. Push the cup inside the vagina towards the cervix while keeping hold of the base, not the stem. While holding onto the base, rotate fully at least 3 times until there is a smooth movement. You may feel a spring back when the cup opens. To remove, make sure you are nearby water.
Make sure you are nearby water.
Did I mention to ensure that you are nearby water? Relax thy muscles. Insert your fingers and feel for the base of the cup. Hold the base of the cup firmly and slowly pull the cup out. Do not stop pulling until the cup is entirely outside your body. Some things they don't tell you about menstrual cups. There is a necessary spring back that you will feel inside when the cup opens up. However, you need to feel the spring back to ensure that the cup is open and is not still closed. You must rotate your cup when it's inside. This will ensure that it opens up properly as well. So this cup, like, it has a serious suction, so it can possibly get sucked onto like one of your walls or another area. You should not be feeling any discomfort. So if you're feeling any discomfort, it probably means that the cup is suctioned onto one of your walls inside. So just remove it and put it in again and ensure that you're putting it towards your cervix. Do not, and I repeat, do not remove your cup without nearby water. Number one, if you can find a free handicap bathroom, I recommend, because those have sinks inside of the stall if you're out. 2, wait till you're home when you're either nearby your shower or you're nearby your sink. Or 3, if you have to change it in public and you don't have a sink nearby, then please go in with a water bottle. You do need water. It is going to be a murder, horrible scene without water. Let's just say there was a time that I went into a bathroom and it was a sink there, but there was no water. No water. None. That's probably one of the most disturbing moments of my life. Using a menstrual cup does require you to be very comfortable with your body as well as blood, because when you do remove the cup, it will be full of blood and you will have to put your fingers up in there, and yeah, so it's your body, it's your punks, girl. Put your fingers up in there. Around the rim of the menstrual cups, there are air holes that help the suction release when you're pulling out and doesn't keep it suctioned all up in there to become a part of you. When you pull the cup out, you do hear like a kind of noise. It just happens, but you do hear a suction noise when you're pulling it out. If you let go of the base of the cup before the cup actually comes out, the suction will pull the cup straight back up there. You pull out the cup using the base, like pinching at the base of the bottom of the cup, not the stem. That stem is there for safety purposes, and you can also cut the stem completely off or trim the stem depending on if it's protruding out, as everyone's vag is a different length. The cup does not stay open inside, so like the cup doesn't stay open like this inside, it actually stays like this because the muscles inside, it pinches it close. Yes, your muscles inside of there are very strong, so it keeps it close about this inside, so that it helps when you pull it out. So let's say if you fill your cup completely, it will be filled to about here, and when you pull it out and open up, the level will drop to avoid any spillage when you take it out. So it doesn't stay completely open inside of there. There's not this just sitting open inside there. It is pinched like this. I personally find it's very cool to see the amount of blood that comes out, like how much you can fill your cup and thing. I know it's very gross. This video is not the most classy video, it's not. But I personally find it's very cool to see the amount of blood that leaves your body. When you're washing out your cup, I do recommend that you wash it slow and carefully, because just like washing a spoon, when you flip it over to the open side and the water sprays out, the same will happen if heavy water goes directly into the cup. It will go all over the place. You need to relax when you're using menstrual cups. There's nothing scary about it, but you do need to relax, because any tense muscles down there will either not allow it to go inside or not allow it to go inside properly and then cause leaking. So when you're trying it out, breathe, take a breath, and then put it in slowly. Another classy part of this video, having a cup inside of you is difficult to poop. It's difficult to poop, unfortunately. As I said in my last video, at the end of the day, everything is very close there. So when you have a cup inside and you try to poop, one, you feel it dislodging and coming a bit lower as the stuff makes its way down. You get the idea. Just take the cup out, take your dumps, put it back in, wash it, put it back in. Don't poop with the cup inside. Regular sanitation is necessary. I recommend that when you wash your cup, you try to wash it with antibacterial soap before you insert it again. Also, I recommend that at the end of your period that you put it in boiling water to give a proper sanitation and keep it aside for next month. I recommend that you designate one particular pot to use that. You don't really want to use that and then boil some rice after. It is not bulky. People take it from me, who was one that thought that a cup, there's no way you could not feel a cup up there. It's not bulky, you don't feel it at all. When it goes in there, you don't feel it, same as tampons. So if you are worried about it being bulky down there or feeling it, don't make that an issue, because it definitely is not. As I said before, but I will reinforce, reusable cups can last up to 6 months. There's some that can last up to a year, and there's even some that can last up to 10 years. So think about how much waste you are avoiding. When your cup is full, you will feel a bubble sensation, like little air bubbles escaping. That is a sign that your cup is full and you should change it. Your cup can possibly overflow on heavier days. However, that will only happen if you leave the cup in for a longer period of time and if you ignore the bubble sensation. Some benefits of using menstrual cups are: it is a more convenient option than pads and tampons because it can stay in there up to 8 to 12 hours, so you can go about your daily happenings and deal with it when you get home. A menstrual cup holds up to 2 to 3 times the amount that one tampon can hold. Menstrual cups are perfectly suitable for an active lifestyle and can be used when you're swimming. There is no excess waste except the initial packaging that the cup will come in. There is no worrying pertaining to changing or leaking unexpectedly. As long as you put the cup in, rotate it as you're supposed to, you're good to go until you reach home or a few hours later. There are no harmful chemicals associated with the use of menstrual cups. There are no monthly costs or monthly trips to the pharmacy. There are no bulky products that you need to carry around. As long as you put your menstrual cup in, there's no need to carry a tampon, a pad, and risk any embarrassment with period-related products. You can use the same menstrual cup no matter what your flow is, be it light, medium, or heavy. The risk of odor is completely eliminated with menstrual cups because there is an airtight seal, so the blood stays in the body and is only exposed when it's about to be emptied. You stand no chance of any skin irritations or infections. There are no negative effects to your pH level, and there is no wet sensation or flowing. Some negative aspects related to using a menstrual cup are: using a menstrual cup is not for the weak. It is a bit of a murder scene. When you empty your cup and you empty it out, it's blood, so it's definitely not for the weak. It can be messy if you're not careful, in that if you don't take your time, you can like spill your cup, and again, another classy moment. Menstrual cups demand sanitary handling. If you are not careful or sanitary with your menstrual cup, you stand the risk of getting an avoidable infection. Removal can be a bit messy, but in the right setting, it's fine. As long as you're in a bathroom, you can wash your hands off and clean up. It requires immediate access to water, so it's definitely not something you can do at the side of a car. I don't know anybody that changes and stuff at the side of a car, but when you gotta do what you gotta do, it does require immediate access to water. Insertion may be a bit difficult for some, but similar to tampons, practice makes perfect, and soon enough you'll be putting that cup up like a pro. So I'll quickly like to discuss my recommendations for which product to use pertaining to a few factors. To begin with, there's age. I recommend that the younger girls, when they first get their period, just stick to pads. It's not complicated. It's fine, and it's a lot more comfortable as you're still getting accustomed to your new body and your new function. I do recommend that you get a bit older and a lot more comfortable, you switch to tampons, or simply use tampons and pads interchangeably. When you need tampons for swimming or being active, use tampons then, and then when you're home in a comfortable setting, you can use pads. I do recommend girls that are 20 and over to look into using menstrual cups, because I do hope that by 20 years old and older, you get a lot more comfortable with down there and the happenings of your body. Pertaining to comfort level, this is not related to age, as some people a bit younger might be a lot more comfortable with their body, and there's some girls that are much older that are still not comfortable with their body. Going from pads to tampons takes another level of comfort, and going from tampons to menstrual cups takes another level of comfort. So it's really about your comfort level with going inside of your body and feeling around, as well as the blood aspect of it. Active lifestyles, I recommend either tampons or menstrual cups. For environmental consciousness, I hands down recommend menstrual cups. They are reusable, there's no waste associated, and pads and tampons, if you really think about it, is a lot of waste that you use pertaining to the packaging, the material itself. There's a lot of risk factors associated with toxic shock syndrome, the bleaching process, as well as the transformation from the cellulose fibers to rayon. All in all, I would like to end off the video with recommending all girls to look into menstrual cups. I personally prefer menstrual cups because I definitely don't like feeling the flow down there. So my camera keeps dying and I really have no intention on waiting tomorrow to film again, and I definitely don't want to wait for it to get any darker as I am struggling for some light already. So to close off, as I was saying, I definitely recommend menstrual cups. I do urge you all to really consider the amount of negative effects pads and tampons have on the environment. The menstrual cups that I recommend are Diva cup, which is very well known and probably the first menstrual cup. Don't hold me to that, I don't know if that's true. And I also saw a page on Instagram called Organic Cup. I will link both in the description bar below so you can have a look at it. I will also link a few videos and a few pages that I found very useful to help you all get a lot more familiar with menstrual cups. So I would now like to close off the video. I do hope that this video was helpful to any girls out there that were curious about menstrual cups or now beginning and would like to know a lot more about the options out there to deal with this very lovely burden we have every month when Mother Nature comes a-knocking. So I do not have a premeditated topic for next week, so I am open to suggestions. So anyone that has suggestions of any topic that they would like to learn a lot more about next week, let me know in the comments below. If not, I will come up with one and make it enjoyable. This video was definitely made for females, obviously, so I would like the next topic to be something that both males and females can enjoy. But as I said, girls, I am here for you. So everyone, I hope you all have a... Would you like to come and say goodbye too?
Yeah. Bye-bye.
So everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful week this week coming. And I urge everyone to do one act of kindness every day. So have a good one, guys, and I'm sorry for the change in the camera, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Have a good one, guys. You're not allowed to make any noise.
Okay, let's try. If I sneeze, then I'm going out.
Pertaining to the reuse. Oh, I got a sandfly bite. Oh my god, come on, give me some breathe, give me some light. Not rain. For those uncomfortable with carrying around period-related products, and don't give me coffee because next level. Some. I won't say this. With the